violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Breaking news at 6 p.m. A stolen Amazon truck plows into pedestrians, hitting 3 people, killing one of them. CBS 2's Candace Crone is live on the scene in South L.A., where she spoke with one of the people who was hit. Candace.
Man, so much going on. But now we have to look out for Amazon truck violence. You know, we've already got knife violence. We've already got gun violence. Now we have to be aware of Amazon truck violence. Okay? That's how they would paint it. That's how they would craft this story to be, right? It's the Amazon truck's fault, not the person who was driving it. And the reason why I wanted to make that point is because the erratic behavior in the community, it pretty much is enabled by the way they frame it, by the way they don't condemn the person and the actions, but rather the inanimate object that was involved. But you got to be one dumb person to rob an Amazon truck that obviously has a tracker in it, just like the super gremlin who robbed the FedEx truck. This is happening all over the country.
Yes.
That's right. We are actually waiting for the identity of the victim who was killed. I want to give you a look at the scene here. The coroner's van has since removed the victim's body. You can see a tow truck here now on scene that is expected to remove one of the vehicle that was also involved in this crash, which is right next to that Amazon truck that you see there. That truck crashed into the vehicle before hitting the vendor. I want to get you to some video, though, from Sky 2 of the aftermath of this deadly crash. LAPD says that someone stole the Amazon truck just after 2 o'clock this afternoon near Woodlawn Avenue and 41st Place, which is less than a mile from where we are here. Shortly after that.
And this is what you got to understand. These Amazon truck drivers, they're hopping out of their cars, dropping off packages and leaving the keys in the car. So I think we're going to see a lot of these Amazon drivers having to cut the truck off, run, deliver the package, turn the truck back on, and I'm pretty sure they're under like a clock on how many packages they deliver and the speed at which they do it. So it's going to make their jobs a lot more difficult just because they have to be on the lookout of a super gremlin on demon time.
Police say the suspect hit 3 pedestrians, killing one of them. We're told the deceased victim, again, was a street vendor selling items on the sidewalk here along 48th and Main when he was hit and killed. That person has not yet been identified. The 2 other victims, though, were treated on the scene and released. Now, detectives say the suspect tried to run off after the crash, but he was quickly detained and taken into custody. We did speak to a man who told us that he was hit by the driver. He was one of the 3 pedestrians struck. He described the mayhem.
I saw the truck coming too fast, so it just struck me in the middle of the wall in the truck. It's hard. I'm blacked out right now. I'm not in my 5 senses right now. I'm shocked by all that I see today. I'm happy I'm alive, you know, like the other guy didn't have the same luck as me.
Yeah, this is a very chaotic scene. Fortunately, he was not hurt. We did reach out to Amazon. They issued a statement saying that our deepest Our deepest sympathies are with the victim's family and loved ones, and we are actively working with the LAPD as they investigate the incident. Back out here live, as you can see, a tow truck here is on scene. We have seen a little bit of movement. It appears that they are trying to get that Amazon truck out of the way, which, as you can see, did smash into this building here. It also hit another vehicle before hitting those 3 pedestrians. I also did speak to a detective who told me that a few officers who were responding to this crash were involved in a separate collision as they responded to this location. Fortunately, though, they were not seriously injured. We're live in South LA. Candace Crone, CBS 2 News. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Candace.
We move on to this story. A stolen Amazon truck crashed and it killed a street vendor.
CBS 2's Kara Fincham is live in South LA with how he is being remembered this morning. Very unfortunate for the family as well, Kara.
It is, DeMarco, and the LAPD now telling us they have booked the suspect in this horrific hit and run with felony hit and run. Behind us, you can see where candles have been lit in memory of the man who lost his life here. This is where that stolen truck plowed up onto the sidewalk, striking the man who was working as a street vendor here. Police also tell us they were able to identify that man, but they aren't releasing his name yet. They're still trying to contact his family. 2 other people were struck and hurt. Fortunately, they're expected to be okay. Let's go to video now of that Amazon truck. Police say it was stolen as the driver dropped off packages less than a mile away. And the LAPD have now identified their suspect. They say he is 37-year-old Cristian Sanchez. They say shortly after.
Uh-oh. So it looks like it's a burrito gremlin. Oh, man. And I should have figured since it's Cali. But this thing is getting out of control. And this goes to the border. All right? And that's all I'm going to say.
After the suspect took it, again, now identified as Cristian Sanchez, they believe he slammed into a parked car and then hit 3 pedestrians. Police say it does not appear he was being chased. They don't know why he lost control. Detectives say the suspect then tried to run off, but a Good Samaritan who saw what happened called 911 and authorities caught him. Our crew spoke with one of the other men who was struck, Gustavo Reyes. He says he often saw the victim selling items on the corner to make a living. He can't grasp what has happened. We also spoke with one of the officers responding.
A citizen was able to follow that suspect, call 911 and direct the police helicopter and responding units. We don't believe he was being chased. Again, for whatever reason, he veered to the right and hit a parked vehicle.
And a spokesperson for Amazon issued a statement saying their deepest sympathies are with the victim's family and loved ones. They are actively working with the LAPD as they investigate. And back here live, the LAPD also tells us, DeMarco and Suzanne, that some officers who were on their way here, they were responding, were involved in a separate collision. Fortunately, nobody hurt in that collision seriously. Everyone said to be okay. But they are investigating both of those crashes this morning, and we'll bring you more information as we get it.
The makeshift memorial there, just a reminder that a precious life was taken. Kara, thank you for that report.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Breaking news now, an innocent man killed in a crash involving an Amazon van. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Harvey.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Jeff Vaughn. This is CBS 2 News at 5 and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. We have just learned 2 other people also were hit. And
CBS 2's Candace Crone is live in South LA from the scene of that accident with the very latest. Candace.
We are at the corner of 48th and Main Street, where detectives are still gathering information regarding this deadly crash. I want to step out of the way to give you a look at the scene here. What we do know is that someone apparently stole an Amazon truck around 2:15 this afternoon near Woodlawn and 41st Place. And at that point, after theft happened, that's when a car was hit, and then 3 pedestrians were struck as well. One of them,
I mean, just reckless, bruh. For what, man? And this is a grown-ass man. 37-year-old dude. 37-year-old burrito gremlin, man.
has since died. I do want to bring in Detective Juan Campos with LAPD to talk a little bit more about what happened here. Detectives, just kind of tell us what is going on, what you all are doing now, and just the situation out here now.
Oh, what's going on after the suspect crashed here at 47th Place in Maine? He took off running. Fortunately, yes, you're right, a pedestrian was killed. He's a male Hispanic between 60 and 65 years old. He was a vendor on the sidewalk. The suspect, as he fled, was followed by other citizens, and they called 911 and directed police to his location at 51st and Broadway, where he was taken in custody without further incident. The suspect, described as a male Hispanic between 25 years old, we're holding it as information until he's finally booked, which would be for vehicular manslaughter. We're asking for anybody out there that saw the theft of the truck and this collision to contact us.
Detectives, it sounds like that there were good Samaritans in the area who kind of stopped to, did they tackle him? Did they detain him until police arrived, or how was he eventually arrested?
They followed it. They did the safe thing, followed him from a distance, called 911, and directed the officers through 911 operator.
Wow, man. And that's dope that they didn't let this guy get away. They followed him no matter how dangerous the situation could have been. And it just doesn't even make sense. Unless you're going to take the vehicle to some chop shop and y'all going to take all the packages and run or something, which he didn't. Like, how do you even crash it? Were they in hot pursuit? Like, what are you doing? Just a joyride on the Amazon truck? I don't get it.
Where he was.
And tell us again, what do we know about the victims killed? At least one of them was a street vendor. He was selling items?
Yes, he's selling items. He's selling some knickknacks, a variety thing. He was not a food vendor, as some people are saying. But again, he was out here making a living.
Obviously, the suspect faces some very serious charges. What do we know about this area of Maine and 48th in terms of, is this it seems a very high traffic area? Do we get a lot of speeding cars? Was this, obviously it was a theft of an Amazon, vehicle?
Yes, Main Street is a main thoroughfare for traffic. We do have some traffic complaints about speed, but unfortunately that's not real relevant to this case because this is a stolen truck, and we're trying to figure out why this suspect veered to the right, hit a parked vehicle, driving onto the sidewalk, killing a pedestrian.
Detective Campos, thank you so much. Again, we're going to stay here to continue to follow this information, but at the very latest, we do know that one person was killed, a street vendor here along the street selling items to people. 2 other folks were injured, that driver arrested. That is the latest in South LA. I'm Candace Crone. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks so much, Candace.
Lou and Glenn, good afternoon. Police say that man lost control just a short while away from where we're standing, smashed into a row of cars, and then killed one man.
Dang, the table where the street vendor was selling, it's still there. Flipped and bended and folded. Sheesh.
The victim's family taking their first flight out of Houston to grieve and pray around the memorial set up for 67-year-old Jose Rangel.
My dad was a hard worker. He was here doing just that.
They're still in shock from hearing and now seeing the news. Sky 5 was overhead capturing the aftermath of this deadly crash. A suspect had apparently stolen an Amazon truck during a delivery on Woodlawn Avenue in 41st Place before crashing about a half mile away. The truck ended up on the sidewalk, striking 3 people, including Jose, who was pinned between the vehicle and the building. He was a street vendor just trying to make a living.
Imagine being pinned between a vehicle and a building. I mean, he was probably in so much pain. Damn.
So I got a call that nobody wants to get a call, of just, that my father was hit by a vehicle and passed away. So I grabbed the first flight that I could here. And as I speak to the detectives and everything, I'm just baffled at, what someone's ambition can do to somebody else's life.
Ambition? I wouldn't call it ambition. I would call it what a burrito gremlin could do on demon time.
After the crash, the driver allegedly jumped out of the truck and ran. A bystander who witnessed the crash spotted the suspect and alerted authorities. That driver, now identified as 37-year-old Cristian Sanchez, was eventually taken into custody, charged with hit-and-run felony.
He was driving about 33 miles an hour when the car impacted the parked car here, and he, why he crashes, he likely was distracted something in the truck because you see his eyes were not on the roadway. And that's not enough to show gross negligence.
This Burrito Gremlin was driving and his eyes weren't even on the road. Can't make this stuff up.
Police say Sanchez has a lengthy criminal record and is being held in custody.
Oh, really?
Live here in South Park, Jennifer McGraw, KTLA 5 News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.